Welcome back for another episode of Strive for 25. Joel Farrell here, and looking forward to sharing with you our guest today.
Welcome to another episode of the Strive for 25 podcast. I've got an amazing guest today, 𝐂𝐎𝐓, who is joining us all the way from up north in British Columbia in Pacific time zone. And she is currently in her schoolie, her home in a schoolie. She'll share more about that in a second. But 𝐂𝐎𝐓, give our listeners a little bit of a background on what you do and who you are.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. This is the first podcast that I'm on, and I'm excited. I'm very excited for this opportunity. So thank you very much. But yeah, pretty much I'm 22 years old. My name's 𝐂𝐎𝐓, and I live inside of a school bus. I'm actually from Alberta in Canada, and when COVID hit, everybody got laid off, and instead of buying a house or anything, I had taken all of the savings that I had and poured it into the bus and started traveling, because that's something that's always been a passion of mine and I've always wanted to do. And so I started traveling all throughout BC with my boyfriend and our dog, and I got a taste of freedom. I got a taste of the life of, not having to worry about your paycheck, not having to worry about anything really. You just have the freedom to be who you are. But then we found ourselves quite broke on Vancouver Island. And that led us to, falling back into 9-to-5 life, falling back into regular job. And I realized that that's not something that I want to do. I meant for more than that. I want that freedom back. I want to be able to help people and help my family and just be me, really. And so I came across my mentor on social media after, diving into the markets. I got into crypto for a little bit, and I had some experience in the Forex space. But my mentor, Megan, when I found her, she really just opened up the door to me to all of these other avenues of making an income online. And so I really took advantage of that, because I knew that was my way out, to figure out how to leverage the device in your hand, to figure out how to leverage your phone, your laptop. And so I became an investor. I became an affiliate marketing coach, and that's just put me on this path that I'm so grateful to be on, for generating an income passively from my phone. And all I need is a Wi-Fi connection, which nowadays is everywhere. So now that's what I do. And it has been an incredible experience. And I'm just very blessed to be where I am today.
So those out there following along, just real quick, where would they find you on social media?
Yeah, so you guys can find me I'm on TikTok and Instagram. My Instagram is 𝐂𝐎𝐓_schmur, so 𝐂𝐎𝐓𝐇𝐎_schmur. And my TikTok is 𝐂𝐎𝐓_schmur, so they're different.
So you've got a couple different lanes that you're in. You mentioned the affiliate marketing, you mentioned some of the investing and trading stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
you've got both those things I think that you do work with and work with people on.
Mm-hmm.
But going backwards in time, affiliate marketing, like I didn't know what affiliate marketing was until very recently, in the last year or so.
Yeah.
So you mentioned investing first and then affiliate marketing, but which of those came first in terms of just getting your feet wet?
So investing and trading in the market, so it's like your binary, crypto, Forex, stocks, NFTs. That definitely came first. I dove into the Forex markets when I was about 16, 17, and started learning about them, started to learn how to analyze the market, starting to open up that door in that world. And, then you turn 18, you graduate, life happens. And so it wasn't something that I stuck with, which I fell into other avenues. I ended up starting up a nail business from home, and I did that for a few years, and I actually closed that down completely so I could travel. And then, after being on the island, and there was a lot of talk on the crypto space, NFTs, they were starting to get a lot of traction. So I was like, I need to be in this space. There's something there, especially because a lot of the population was calling it a scam. There's a lot of fear around it. I was like, there's got to be something else. And so I started to dive into that space a bit more, your Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it may be. And that's what kind of led me to my mentor, who was also talking about investing in the markets. And that's who opened the door really to the affiliate side as well. So definitely the investing came first, and then affiliate came second.
So I definitely want to dig deeper on the affiliate and online stuff, but from a marketing, an investing standpoint, what's just one example of a strategy that that's successful in the crypto markets in terms of trading? Because it's not always a buy and hold, right? I mean, you're in and out, right? How does that
Mhm.
work in terms of the strategies that you guys use?
Yeah, so it honestly doesn't matter whether the markets are going up or they're going down. You can make an income off of it, which a lot of people don't realize, because when you start branching into this space, a lot of people think either one, it's just straight gambling, or two, you're buying and you're holding it for a long time. Especially with crypto, a lot of people bought into Bitcoin and Ethereum thinking that they're just going to hold it till 100,000 or whatever it's supposed to go to. But then, what goes up must come down eventually. And so the markets crashed. Is very fear-based. But I think that it's hard to explain in such a short period of time. But the one thing that really made a difference for me in the space itself was learning about Fibonacci. Fibonacci was one thing that dramatically changed the way that I not only looked at the charts, but the way that I looked at everything, really, because Fibonacci is just the mathematical equation that everything on Earth operates from. And the charts in crypto reflect it to a T, because crypto is really based off of humans and emotions and who we are. We're the ones that are kind of controlling the charts. So once you can understand Fibonacci, it gets a little bit easier.
Okay, so for the layperson that doesn't know much about charts and trading, so Fibonacci is a series of sets of numbers, and I guess from a support resistance, it gives you levels of potential being able to buy and sell, and predict or have a better guesstimate of which way the markets are going to go from certain levels.
Yes.
Okay.
You base your trading off of support and resistance for where the market you think is going to stop and bounce back, which all the markets have. That they all have these invisible lines that the markets will stop at, and you'll see them bounce, and they're almost like touching this line and can't break through. You're basically, when you're trading in the markets, you're trying to figure out what are the points, what are the places where they're going to stop and bounce back from, or pull back from, or break through. You want to analyze the charts to find those, and that's what can help you decide whether you're going to put in a trade then or not.
Okay. So that type of thing, at the end of the day, what comes to my brain is how much time does it take to do? And if you work a job and then you're going to say, I'm going to do that on the side, because Forex is something that we had somebody on the podcast a few months back that he had a job working kind of like the second shift, and it would get done like 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning, and then would trade the 1 to 4 shift in Forex, and a little bit about that. So how much time, when you were doing it or are doing it, how much time do you spend on that in a week, in a day?
That's a good question. I think before I was spending like 3 or 4 hours a day on the markets and learning about them. Now, since I've branched so much into the affiliate space, and I really love working with the team that I have, I'm more so doing like long-term investments at this point, things that I'm deciding to hold for a very long time. So I don't spend nearly as much time anymore in the markets, but I still have an idea of what's going on in the space. That's important. You got to know what's happening. But I really spend a lot more of my time with my team at this point.
Yeah. So affiliate marketing. Let's just start with a basic explanation. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, for sure. So affiliate marketing is actually when you sell a product or a service online and gain a commission. And technically, everybody kind of does this, and they don't even realize it. When you're promoting your Starbucks, your Tim Hortons, the new shoes that you just bought, the clothing that you're wearing, whatever it may be, we're all doing it, but just most of us aren't getting paid for it. So when you're promoting a product, like this shirt, for example, I could take a TikTok or a picture of me wearing it, and I could tag the company in it, or have a link towards buying this exact shirt. And if somebody purchases it, I make a commission. What I do, instead of just selling all these random things on social media is I've actually leveraged the financial education platform. And I chose that platform because, one, I like the markets. I invest in them. I know there's a lot of potential there. But two, I wanted something that held true to my values. I wanted something that still helped people, that was beneficial for society, that was productive. I wanted something that could educate people and help them, better their lives as well. So that's kind of why I decided to affiliate for this platform.
Okay, so this platform, meaning, what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so I'm actually affiliated for an financial education platform that teaches you all the ins and outs of trading and investing in the markets, teaches you all about financial literacy, not only how to make the money, which is important, everybody wants that, but also how to keep the money that you make in a smart way. 95% of people who win the lottery, they just go bankrupt in the first year. And so if you can't handle a small account, you're never going to be able to handle a large account. And so being in the markets and having, some education there, this platform that taught more about all of the markets, binary, crypto, forex, stocks, NFTs, I figured this was a perfect platform to promote, to affiliate for, to encourage other people to get started with, because there's a lot of potential and you can really change your life.
Okay, so let's say somebody wants to get into this world of affiliate marketing,
Mhm.
what kind of time frame is it going to take? Because, I see a lot of people, that I talk to in my day job in the mortgage world, and then also kind of in this other world, we're talking to people that are entrepreneurs, people that are building businesses, online or whatever. And they start out doing something on the side and then grow it, and then it reaches a point where it surpasses your regular job income, and then you move on. So if somebody is starting from literal zero, like what kind of time frame should somebody expect to start to be able to generate income and kind of levels?
Mm-hmm. That question is incredibly challenging to answer because it all depends on who the person is. And I say this to my team all the time because I could be more productive than you could be in an hour. You could be more productive than I. You could get 10 times more done in a time frame than I could. So it's hard to put a number. It's hard to put a time on when you're going to see results. It also depends on how well you are at posting content. How active are you? There's a lot of variables that go into this world. It's not something that you can just get started with and immediately be making money. It never happens that way. But if you're very productive with the time that you're given, and you put your all in, you put your heart into it, you really learn the skills that go into it, you can see success at a quicker rate. Like I know people that have stepped away from their regular jobs in 3 months. I know people that have done it in 2 years. It all really depends on who you are. What does your day look like, and how productive you are.
So one of the things you mentioned was posting content, right? And
Mm-hmm.
well, people are going to have things that they know, things that they're good at, things that they like to talk about, things that they are passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, from a posting content, building your digital brand, how does all that fit together? So, okay, so what does it actually take to go from zero to starting to get traction? So posting content, like, explain more about that, because for the listeners.
Yeah, I will thank Gary V a lot for my knowledge on content. He's somebody that I listen to a lot of his podcasts and his videos. But in reality, we're in this world where everybody has a phone on them. Everybody sits, they scroll. It's rare nowadays to find somebody who isn't on social media. Who hasn't bought in something online, who hasn't used Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's a very hot topic right now, and it's something that isn't going to go away. It's also the fastest way for you to reach an incredibly large audience. I mean, if you look at TikTok, you're really getting pushed out to anybody and everywhere. So when you start posting content on a regular basis, like 3-4 times a day, on TikTok alone, you might be getting 200 views, but if 200 people walked into your store, that's a lot. So consistency is the biggest thing when branching into this world, when stepping into this world. Consistency. You don't have to be incredibly great at content at the start. I mean, with quantity will come quality. That's inevitable. As you continue to do something, you're going to get better with it. Look TikTok, for instance, is a very more raw type of social media platform. Like, you don't have to look good on it. You don't have to make sure your video is up to par and immaculate, because it's a very raw platform. There's a lot of people that just post, in their pajamas, whatever, house is a mess, and they blow up, to like 1 million views or 1 million likes. Whereas Instagram is a little bit more, you need to be more presentable. You need to make sure that you have a lot of quality on there. So depending on which platform you're on, but in reality, continuing to be consistent with whatever it is that you're doing, and always rope your personality into it. Like me, for instance, my brand is me. I am my brand. If you want to work with me or learn what I'm doing, you gotta like me, because I'm gonna help you get there. I live in a bus. I'm not afraid to say that, and I'm not gonna shy away from who I am. So I always encourage my team to promote who you are as a person, the hobbies that you have. If you like the gym, knitting, sewing, reading, swimming, I don't care what it is, but show people that, because that's how you build trust. That's how you build a connection. Social media is really, you're building a connection with your following base and the people that are on the other side of the screen. And once they trust you, they feel like they know you, then they're going to have a lot more belief in what it is that you're doing, and a lot more trust in what it is that you're doing.
So I love that. You mentioned consistency, being yourself amongst a few other things. And I know people that I've talked to, and including myself, just getting over that internal barrier of like I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not going to be good at it. I'm not good at these things. All these different things that people will rationalize that will stop them from doing it. And I woke up one day in June and just said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I started on July 12th, started this Instagram channel for Strive for 25, and I've posted one reel every single day. But it took a long time to get there. It took a lot of reading and just inspirational stuff, and other things happened in my life that pushed me out of my comfort zone to want to get there.
Yeah.
But you mentioned TikTok 3 or 4 times a day, consistency. In terms of the range of topics, like yours is, I think, very, very specific in terms of what you're trying to do with the branding and the making money online. What are some like I guess what I'm trying to say is, if somebody wants to start to build a brand on a certain type of niche or topic, they probably want to be very stick to that topic and be narrow on that topic, right? Or people want to be wide on their topics. Well, how does that work?
Yeah, I think it all depends on what your niche is, what you want. And I mean, you can change your niche as you go. You might run into getting lower interactions and lower engagement just because your following base isn't used to it. But at the end of the day, you're trying to entertain somebody. You're providing entertainment, whether that is through comedy, whether that is through education. And if it's comedy, you better make sure you're funny, regardless of whatever it is you're talking about. I mean, if you've chosen comedy, then you now have like a huge tree branch of other topics that you can pick off of, whether you're into like the more dark humor or the whatever it may be, but you have a lot of topics that you can pick and choose from. But your followers want to see the same thing. That's why they followed you. They followed you because they like your sense of humor in that area. And so it's good to, like, you don't have to be really specific and head on and everything must be the exact same, but it should stay within that umbrella. And if it's education, it must be something that people haven't heard of before. It's got to be something new to them, something that they're learning. And even with education, now you're in a whole bigger picture of, okay, well, is it woodworking that you're teaching? Is it motivation? Are you a motivational speaker? Is it, financial advice like I am in? Is it, like there's so many more topics. And as long as you stay consistent within a specific umbrella, I like to say, you have thousands of ideas and thousands of video ideas that you can create, within there. But your followers are following you because of what it is that you posted. So you got to keep it somewhat consistent in that niche.
Okay, so when people say, hey, you know what, I'm going to come to your profile or go to your website and then purchase something or purchase services, at the end of the day, that end user is coming to a platform, yours or anybody else's, to solve a problem, right? Like at the end of the day, like the things that you're doing, the things that other people are doing, you're trying to be able to help people solve problems, whether it be health, relationships, finance, whatever it is in these different genres.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about it on those terms, because a year ago I just thought social media was a joke. People were just out there taking videos of themselves and okay, they're whatever. That's something I'll never ever be in. I'll stay in my lane over here, under my
Mm-hmm.
rock. Um, but when you go through the process, like affiliate marketing, getting that first sale, right? Was it you had a certain amount of followers? Like, how does that first sale happen? And what happens next?
When I first started, I only had 1,500 followers. And I used my original account that I had been MIA on for the past 2 years because I just didn't see a purpose really in social media either. I was like, I'm gonna focus on me, right? I think everybody really goes to that stage at some point. They're like, I don't need social media, I'm done. But then you really realize how disconnected you are with everybody because it's so common nowadays. But I only started with 1,500 followers, and actually, as of today, I hit 10,000 followers today, which is absurd to me. Like, it just feels so crazy, which it's not a crazy number, but to me it is. I just 10x'd my following base. But it took a lot of consistency. It took a lot of me stepping outside of my comfort zone. Anytime that a fear arose, I just ran full force into it because I was like, I need to get over it one way or another. And really just putting my voice out on social media and reaching out to people. And the first sale that I got was so cool. It was so cool. Like, the first time you make money in this space, you're like, okay, this is real. Like, I can do it. Like, it was incredible. And that excitement is what keeps you going to the next and to the next and to the next. And then next thing you know, like, I'm working with a team. Like, I have an international team. I've a girl out in the Netherlands right now, which is just crazy. It's a crazy thought to think a year ago it was just, me and my boyfriend and dog in the bus and just doing our thing. It's like now I have a team that count on me and that I help, and it's crazy. I love it.
That first product or first service, what
Mm-hmm.
was that product that was the first sale?
The first sale for me was somebody that was just interested in investing. So I helped them, get on the platform. I'm there to answer any of their questions, setting up any accounts that they have, finding the right resources for them. So they didn't really want to do the affiliate side, but that was okay with me. It was the first sale. I was like, this is so exciting.
Cool. So you mentioned that for you, that's an affiliate thing in terms of that, but they're getting in the investing world. Is there another side of the affiliate world? Like what types of things are in your playbook, I guess you'd say?
Yeah. So pretty much I help people with the investing side. I help them, get on the platform. I'm there to answer their questions and whatnot, everything in regards to that, and pointing them to the right resources. And then I have another side, which is the team that I work with. So they also are doing affiliate marketing. A lot of them are affiliated for the same platform that I am. I do have a few clients that have their own businesses. Some of them have like handyman shops, or they have Shopify accounts that they're trying to grow. And I really just help them with their social media side. I help them with everything in regards to you now becoming a content creator, you building your confidence. What do the numbers look like in order for you to get to that goal that you want? So that's kind of what I do right now, is a mix between, helping people that just want to invest and they don't want to be on social media, which is totally okay. And then helping people that are trying to get their voice on social media and find out who they are and find their community of people that, believe in them and support them.
Cool. So your website, yourgirldakota.com, right? So if somebody wants to get mentored, if they want to get into, I guess, your coaching program, this is where they would go to be able to learn more information, right?
Yes, or just send me a message on Instagram.
Okay.
I get a lot of messages, but I do go through them. It just takes me a little bit, but that's also another way to easily get in touch with me.
The video that you have on the website, iGenius affiliate, the harsh reality, it's a 30-minute video. It's got jam-packed with a lot of information. Would you recommend that be something that somebody, if they're new to the game and want to learn more, just to be able to do some free research, would you recommend that video or something else?
Yeah, totally. Why not? Either that video or just reach out to me directly. I mean,
Fair enough.
I usually jump on Zoom calls with anybody that's actually serious. It gives me the opportunity to explain to them further, to answer any of their questions, because this space can be confusing if you have no idea how to do it and you've never done it before. So yeah, either of those work.
Cool. So, on this channel, and I talked about this, on our previous conversations. Patrick Bet David is, a CEO of an insurance company. He's got a massive amount of following, podcast, etc. And he talks about a paradigm shift, this massive emotional event that happens in someone's life. If people use this event and fuel it for positive change instead of it pulling you backwards, can change the trajectory of your life. And we've had a lot of people on this channel, on the podcast, share the stories, and there are things that happen in their lives that just change the way they look at things and change the way their path. And for you and in your young journey at 23, right? What was there something 22? Is there something in your life that just changed the way that you look at things along the way?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was COVID. I think that was the biggest thing, because where I was in life prior to COVID hitting is way different than where I am now. I mean, I was still focused a lot, like any of the books that I was reading was very much like mindset and self-help and development and all of that stuff that always interested me. But I was a server and I had a nail business that was just continuing to grow, and I was getting more clients, and I was ready to buy a house. Like, I had put all this money away. I was looking at properties. I was taking that step in life of, okay, time to like adult, or however you want to call it, when you buy your house and you go work this job for the next 40 years. Like, that's the path I was on. And then when COVID hit and it was like, hey, everything gets shut down, nail business was closed for a little while. You couldn't serve in the restaurants. And I was just free for a little bit. EI checks were coming in, which was good for me. But it made me realize, okay, I can't buy a house if I don't have like a solid income coming in. And I just didn't really know what to do. And then the bus, I thought about building a bus. I had watched a TV series that kind of sparked that interest in me. And I was like, why don't I do it? Like, fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? And I have no experience. I've never built anything before. I've never been an electrician. I've never done plumbing. I was a nail tech, and a server. But I had a dream. I was like, why not live in a bus? This seems like such a cool thing to do. And within like a week, I had bought in a bus, and everybody thought I was crazy, except my mom, because my mom knew, like, whenever I set my mind to something, somehow I'd figure it out. And so we bought a bus and started building, and I took all the money that I had and I pooled it into the bus and started traveling. And like, looking back now, I realized, had COVID not hit, like, a lot of people talk about, oh, COVID was so bad, all of this negative stuff happened, my business closed down, whatever. It's like, so did mine. My business got shut down too. But had COVID not happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. I would be somewhere dramatically different on a path that is repetitive. You do the same thing over and over again, and I don't want to be on that path. I want to have freedom. And so COVID for me really was that shifting point of, okay, now it's about me. I get to build a business. I get to travel. I get to be who I was meant to be.
I love that. Yeah, that makes me think of, we had a gentleman on recently. His name's Mark Oshiro, who's in Hawaii, a firefighter. Now he's a real estate investor, and
Incredible.
He has a pension, worked 25 years, and like, his life that's like the American dream, work your job, get a pension, retire. And he said something that hit me. He said, on that path, I felt that was too risky to do that. Like with a pension and a good job, that's risky. And there's certain things happen in his life that changed the way he looked at this stuff. He's like, well, what if something happens to me? His father had a stroke like a couple of weeks after he retired at like 60 whatever. It's like you
Hmm.
work, like you were saying, you work all that time and for what, to have 15, 20 years or whatever. And it's like, I don't want to wait that long. And he's
No.
like, I'm gonna figure something else out. If something happens to me and I don't finish to get to my pension, then I'm screwed. I got to figure something else out. So it's like more and
Yeah.
more people have that same mindset and wavelength than ever before. And you know, at the end of the day, like getting the understanding that it's possible, and then the how. Well, then how do you do that? What's the blueprint? What's the roadmap? And
Hmm.
that's why I think it's so cool to be able to dig into this stuff with you, Dakota, because there's so many people that want to learn about it, and
Hmm.
and I keep hearing you say on social media that it's possible. Like, I think one of your videos was, if you're scrolling on your phone, you know,
For two
stop.
hours in a day.
Right, right. Like,
Yeah.
um, so
I
go ahead.
I think there's a lot of fear. People let fear run their world, run their life. You're afraid of everything. You have social anxiety, so you don't go out. You're afraid of COVID, so you never went and explored more. You're afraid of the plane going down, so you decide not to travel. You're afraid of your business failing, so you don't even start it up. You're afraid that this happens. You're afraid that this happens. And then you just stay sheltered on this path, going nowhere, doing nothing new because you're so afraid of, well, what if it doesn't work out? What if this goes wrong? What if, I lose my money? Whatever. It's like, what if? But what if it works out? You'll never know unless you try. And the only reason how you can fail is if you didn't learn anything. And how do you fail and not learn something? I hope you learn something if you failed. I've lost money. I've made mistakes. I've fucked up. Does that deter me away from anything? No. Why? Because that's how you grow. Your growth and development lies at the edge of your comfort zone. And so many people, I think, especially with COVID, because we were also, confined to our own spaces. We didn't go out, you're very independent. You do everything by yourself. And a lot of people have just developed a lot of fear for everything and a fear of failure, which I think we need to rewrite the terminology for failure, because failure is a good thing. You're learning. You grew, you understood something, you made a mistake. Okay, how can we not make that mistake next time? Like, I pride myself on only making the mistake once. If I fuck up and I lose something or break something, whatever it may be, I learn my lesson. Then I'm not going to go do that mistake again. And too many people are afraid to even make that mistake to learn, which is such a crazy thing. But that prevents a lot of people from, either stepping into how to make money online or anything really, the new job that you really want, that promotion that you might want to do, that trip that you've always wanted to take, but you're too afraid of everything. And that's no way to live.
No. Yeah, I mean the comfort zone, right? People get in this comfort zone, and for so many, it gets tough, it gets rough, things are tight with finances, or for whatever reason, things are going the wrong way for you. So it's uncomfortable down here on the scale. And so you
Mm-hmm.
work your way to get out of it, and you get back to kind of this equilibrium. And well, all that stuff, all that work that you did to get from here at the bottom to normal, well, are you gonna keep doing it, or are you gonna just stop? Because a lot of people stop, and it's like, well, if you just kept on going, you would be light years ahead of where you were before. But people just they stay in this equilibrium. And then when you do get up to this success level and things are going in the right direction, sometimes that can also be just as uncomfortable as it is down here. So we fall back into our old patterns. And so this, ping pong of up and down. And so, you mentioned COVID, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the pain, the struggle, the fear of what's going on, whatever, all these things, you know, a recession. Like, I know this type of things that have been going on with rates going up and inflation in my industry. I saw pain coming in March and April of 2022, and that's part of the reason why this channel even exists. I just knew that I'm going to have to change the things that I'm doing to be able to get to where I want to go, because what I've been doing in the past is not going to continue to work going forward. And so that
Mm-hmm.
pain, the struggle pushed me out of my own comfort zone. And and that's the hard thing, is that once you do start winning, well, then what? Like, do you have to recreate pain? Like, I know me, that's the thing that fuels me, is that pain and struggle. And everyone is wired differently, that pushes them to the next level. And some people don't ever get pushed to the next level, right? But that's where this stuff gets interesting, And for you yourself, I mean, you're in your early stages of your journey, and there's not a lot of people that are okay with taking those kinds of risks and putting themselves out there, right? And then, like you said, learning from your failures. You know, from the majority of this audience being in the United States, being up in BC, and the different climate and a little bit of a different culture, and way things are done. How has that impacted this journey in any way, or has it at all affected your journey in any way, going from COVID into this?
This is a fun question, because there's so much that happens in the world all the time, and people always make fun of me because I don't pay as much attention to politics, which is not a good thing, I guess. But for me, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like the people are going to change in power. New rules are going to be made. My job as me is to figure out how to make them work for me. Like there's not a crazy amount that I can do to change it if I don't like it. So let it be. Let me focus on what I actually can change, which is myself, which is my business, which is the direction that I'm on. So I really don't put much attention into, like, how does Canada differ from the States? This is a terrible topic, but I hope I don't offend anybody. But it's so true. Like, no matter where you are in the world and really what's going on, you can change yourself. That's what you can change. Whether that is you need more money to go somewhere else that you would rather be, okay, figure out how to get that money. Whatever it is, the job that you're in, the family situation, the house that you live in, you can change you. And by changing who you are, your external factor around you will change. It always does. But it all starts with you. I can only control my actions. I can only control my emotions. I can only control what I do. It doesn't matter what else is really going on. I could have been one of the people that let COVID, just wreck my life and be depressed and, oh, boo-hoo me, like, oh, it's COVID, it's been 2 years, I just can't go back to work yet, like the bills are piling. No, fuck that. Like, I still gotta live, right? I need to take control of my life and who I am. And so many people just want to blame everything else for their problems. Oh, well, I can't do it because of the government. Oh, I can't, my job, my boss. Oh, this, my family, whatever. No, fuck that. Man up. Like, go do the shit that you're supposed to do. Go be the person you're supposed to become. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to change because it's easier and it's more comfortable to wish and hope that everything else will change so you can live in your perfect world that will never come.
Yeah, shit. I mean, that's so true. I mean, I'm on the same plane as that. I mean, I have my opinions about a lot of things, but a tangible example of what you're saying is that when you're at the water cooler, so to speak, or in a group of people talking about whatever, and things that come up that don't serve you, I mean, spending time thinking about it or talking about it is time that you could be spending doing other things, thinking about other things that can serve you versus not serve you. And so, that's the thing, is that for me personally, I talk about this all the time on this channel. But the book Power of Consistency, that book just hit me in my journey at a certain time. And it's a book about a guy who was in jail, and his father dies, and he's got a kid that he's never met. And he starts, that was his kind of turning point in his life, realizing, shit, I need to change my life. I mean, my dad just died, and I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Am I ever going to have a relationship with my kids? And he started reading all the books, the Stephen Covey's, the Tony Robbins, all this stuff. And, he talks about he built this prosperity plan where he literally takes his vision and his goals and reviews them every single day. And he's intentionally putting it into his mind, and he's training his subconscious brain to be able to help him increase the odds of reaching his goal. And by doing it every single day, he's built that habit, and it's basically charting his course, just like driving your car home after a long day, weaving in and out of traffic. on the phone, stopping by the grocery store, not consciously thinking about your drive, your muscle memory is guiding you home without
Yeah.
consciously thinking about it. And so that type of mindset and realizing that, hey, I what I think about, either positive or negative, is going to affect how I feel, which is going to affect how I act, which is going to affect my results. But I have control over that to a certain extent. And if I can put in positive stuff, I'm going to get the following positive results at the end of the day. So if I can take control of that, well, what else is possible? What else does that lead to?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like we're talking about, letting the boohoo, it's the government's fault, it's whoever's fault. Like, that's great, but you're wasting your time talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Not serving you. So,
I
so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
People don't realize how much that autopilot works in everywhere of your life. Like how you said, you're driving and then you're like, oh fuck, I'm home. Like you don't even realize it because you're so zoned in and you're daydreaming. But it's like you do that throughout your whole life without realizing it. In your career that you're in, that you've been in for the past 10 years, you're kind of on autopilot, and it's autopiloted your everything outside of your work too, your family, whether you see people closely or not, whether you build those relationships, whether you build a business, whether you travel. And I think that's where a lot of like midlife crises come in, is because you realize you've been on autopilot, and then one day you're like, fuck, it's like when you get home and you're like, I'm so glad I made it safe, but now you're like 30, 40, whatever it may be, and you're like, well, what have I been doing? Like I didn't save for retirement, I didn't go get the house I wanted, I fucked this up here, like I didn't travel, whatever it may be, but you've autopiloted everything.
Are you saying that my midlife crisis is this podcast? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you never know. But the best part is the fact that you woke up to it, that you stop yourself and you're like, hey, but a lot of people, like you have two options there. When you hit that point, you can either, go back into your autopilot for the next 40 years and hopefully retire, or you're like, okay, now's my opportunity to make a change because I'm aware of what is going on. You cannot change something that you're not even aware of. So I hope that for like my content and what I'm doing is to just make people aware of what they have available, make people aware of the way that they're living, make them aware of life in this situation, and to not be on autopilot, because you don't have to be. And I don't want people to wake up one day and be like, it's been 10 years. Like, what did I do? Like it's a crazy thought. And that's what scares me for myself. And that's what helps me push so hard too, is because I don't want to be in that position.
So if somebody out there is listening to this, right, and I'm going to just give a tangible example, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say somebody has a job making $25 an hour. I think that's probably 50 grand. I don't know.
Yeah.
A year. And they come to you and they say, hey, like, show me the way, help me out. I'm all in. I will put the work in. Because I think you've been very clear. It's going to take work, intentional work, to be able to, and time and consistency to be able to get results. And again, I hate to put somebody on the spot in terms of saying any dollars. So maybe we do ranges of percentages, but what is possible if somebody does things the right way after a year? What is possible in terms of the ability to generate some extra revenue? $1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, 3,000 a month?
This is
What's
another
possible?
This is another one of those loaded questions that it really all depends on the person.
Is there going to be sour cream and cheese and butter loaded? I want that sucker loaded.
Well, there can be, but I hate tying a number to it, because then people expect that when they go in, and then somebody who puts no effort in whatsoever, they're like, well, you said, and I'm like, so that's why I like to stray away from numbers. And I don't ever want to be those people that like brag about how much you make or whatever it may be, because everybody's different, and what I think is success to me maybe won't be success for you. We have different expenses. We live in different worlds. My life is very cheap compared to the average person, but you put the own cap. When you're in this space, you make the cap on how much you can make. I've spoken with people that are making $100,000 a month. I've spoken with people that have made $1 million a day. in this space. So you really put the cap. If you understand what you're doing, if you understand risk to reward, if you understand not only how to make the money, but how to keep the money, how to reinvest the money effectively, smartly, I don't really think there is a cap until you stop working and get comfortable again. There's not really a cap to how much you can make.
Okay. Well, you didn't answer my damn question, but I expected that. Because like you said, there really is a whole range of not only ways you can attack these types of opportunities and what your passion is about, what you like, and all these industries are going to be different in what's possible. But at the end of the day, like I said before, I mean, you're trying to help. Your goal is to help solve somebody's problems. That's something I heard along the way. And I don't know who it was, but attacking with that mindset just helped me kind of reframe of what's the purpose behind it. So the example that I give a lot, because it's just almost fits into these round numbers very easily, and this is kind of the story of the stair step method that I put out there on the podcast and shared other places. But somebody came to me 7-8 years, it's 8 years ago now, geez, with a credit score in the 580 range and no plan. The other lender that was working with him didn't give him any hope or plan, and he talked to somebody else and said, "Hey, you got to talk to Joel, he'll give you a plan." So we're talking, and hey, this is what you got to do to get your scores up. Pay a couple credit cards down by this amount, boom, scores up to 620. And but like, dude, you don't really have any other money. Like, there's nothing to cut. He was making about $40,000 a year. The typical stuff like rent, car payment, groceries, gas, whatever. It's like, well, the only other thing that you can do is look at trying to be able to generate more income, because income minus your expenses equals your savings, right? Everyone wants to talk about cutting your expenses and cutting this and doing a budget, but that's not going to make you a millionaire. It's not going to make you wealthy. It helps, it's important, but that's not going to be the end all be all. And so it's important to think about it, but not like to put all your thought into it. And so if you spend time generating more income over time, those actions compound, and imagine how that could be exponential over years. And so he found a job, a part-time job on the weekends, making about an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month. And that, for some people, that might not sound like a lot, but when you're saving $0, and again, for the audience out there, Strive for 25, the whole premise is working your way up to be able to save 25% of your income, because if you can do that, then you're going to have choices of what to do with your savings, which is options is where you want to be, having options. And so he went from 0 savings to like 18% savings in like 2 months, just by shifting his reference, shifting his mind of the way he looked at things. His purpose was greater. He wanted to be able to get in real estate. He wanted to be able to build a portfolio from the ground up. And for him, working a weekend on a Saturday in August was like the most dreadful thing ever. And then 2 months later, it's like, shit, I'm pumped up. I'm going to save some money. Like that success, you get that snowball rolling, and you get that momentum. And now you change it from an anxiety thing or, dreading work thing, and you reframe it into a positive because you're associating with other positive things. And that reframing of how we're thinking about things is something that hit me hard too. Like, I think I saw something along the way. I think it was probably 3 years ago, maybe on Twitter or Instagram or something, that Olympians, they get nervous just like everybody else before a race, but they've trained their mind to think about it in a different way. Instead of it being nervous, this is me. I'm excited for this race. And like the first day you do that, what's the effect? I don't notice anything different, but you do it 30 days in a row, you've reprogrammed your brain to look at it differently. And like that, these examples, I say it out loud because sometimes you have to hear it 30 times to think, well, shit, if they keep talking about, maybe something I'm going to try out. If I see Dakota, saying on Instagram 30 times, if you're swiping and using your digital device that you're swiping on, but you can actually use it to make money, maybe it's time to check it out. Maybe it's time to change your frame of reference.
It's so true. I actually did that with my anxiety. Growing up, I had bad anxiety. And then my brother was the one who switched it for me one day. He was like, it's normal. Everybody gets anxiety. It's just a feeling of not having done something before. And before that, it's like, you hear all the people that like they take medication for their anxiety to help them, and I'm not one of those people. I never wanted to do that, but hearing him say that made me realize, shit, you're so right. Like, it is just the fact that I've never done this before, and it's me stepping into something that's uncomfortable, but it's growing me. So every time I get anxious about something, I switch it to I'm just excited because I haven't done it before. I'm excited because I haven't done it before. I'm going to learn, and it's going to grow me, and I'm going to be better afterwards. And you do that enough times, and I can't remember the last time I was anxious.
Do you remember how long ago that was?
I think I was 17 or 18. So like 4 or 5 years ago, he said that to me. And before it was like, panic attacks, you can't really do anything. You're at home, whatever. Like it's almost paralyzing, but you switch your mindset on it, and it's quite a dramatic difference to where I am today. If I think back to, 16-year-old me who was like afraid and anxious and all of that stuff.
Damn. Just one sentence, one phrase, just like boom.
Yes.
Light switch.
Sometimes
Yeah.
that's all you need.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, like when you mentioned COVID, because the reason why I want to share the story is because I'm at a different point in my journey than you are, and other people listening are going to be in different points of their journey than some of us. And it doesn't matter where you are. Like a friend of mine that we had on, his name is Duck Lee. He's somebody I grew up with, and he had 2 properties in 2020, and he was a guy that's been in sales, like one of the best salesmen I've ever seen, just really good at his job. He like perfected the art of like being really good at his job without having to actually work hard. Like he was just so efficient at what he does. And he and I are, and it doesn't even matter, but COVID hit, and he's the person that's very social, needs to be around people. That's just what gives him energy. COVID hit, and the isolation hit, just kind of what you were talking about from before, and just put him into a spot that he was just not doing well. And he never shared that with me in the moment. But sooner or later, I saw what was going on, because he went from 2 properties to 150 units, and like he just retired in November. Like just
Beautiful.
something just clicked,
Yeah.
And so I'm so happy for him. But like the reason I share that is twofold. It's like, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. Like you can't change the past, but you can change the future.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, failure or pain, lean into it. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It could be transformational, if you look at it from the right way.
I totally agree. I love that.
So we're running up on time here. I don't want to keep you too long. So 2023 goals. I had my own moment today, actually. I had 1,000 followers today. I called like 10 people. like
Yes.
all like fangirling, like,
Yes.
dude, thank you so much for your help. Thank you so and so for that tip. Thank you so and so for that.
That's
And
beautiful. That's big
yeah,
steps.
I mean, we've been doing this since July 12th, so it's a little over 6 months. And there were so many days like, dude, this is a waste of time. Like, what am I doing? Like, is this even gonna be worth it? Like, whatever. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. So plans for
That's okay.
2023.
That is okay. I liked hearing that. Congratulations. That's a big step. When you start from nothing and you start to see a result and you start hitting that number, that's exciting. Celebrate that. A lot of people forget to celebrate the small wins, and they're always focused on, no, I want 100,000 or 10,000, 100,000, whatever it may be. You forget to celebrate where you are. It's like, being focusing on the negative instead of focusing on the good. You need to celebrate those milestones. So congratulations. That's incredible. And you're just going to continue to grow from there, which is amazing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. In regards to my 2023 goals, I also want to get into real estate. So I have the businesses that I do right now, and I'm kind of pooling my money. And by the end of 2023, I want to have 2 properties. That's my goal. And I also want to, I want to be in the States for next winter. Those are my big goals. And currently I'm operating in 3 countries. I'm in Canada, the States, and then the Netherlands. And I would love to close out 2023 being in, like, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 new places. Yeah. which is really exciting and really cool. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for, and helping my team. Also, I want to see my team grow and develop who they are, and see them. It's fun getting a front row seat in their lives and watching, from day one when I met them to where they are now and the growth that they've done, even just mentally, and the confidence in who they are. It is beautiful. It is so much fun, and it brings me so much joy. So to have the opportunity to do that for more people, I'm excited. I'm so excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So 8 countries, 10 countries, be in the States in the
For
winter.
Yeah.
So like Arizona, Florida, New York,
California
like
for sure.
okay.
We have a friend there, so we want to go visit him. But I just wanna soak it in, and just enjoy it, and just travel about. And I want to go to North Dakota, South Dakota, just because it's my name. I feel like I'm obligated to go there, take a picture, but I just wanna hit the road, and meet people and explore and learn what I'm gonna learn. And yeah, I don't know. I love traveling.
I have one more question for you.
Okay.
So what if every single working adult in their 20s and 30s or 40s or 50s, every working adult said, you know what, I'm gonna get a side hustle trying to make money online. Like $250 a month. If you're not saving any money, $250 a month is a win. So it can
Yeah.
only get better from there. What if every single person did that? What's the vision that comes to mind if every single person said, I'm gonna go do this and figure it out?
Um, I think it's funny that you asked me that, because I've often had people ask me that question, like, what if everybody starts an online business? And one, there's no way everybody's going to do that, because there's a lot of people that will remain on autopilot for the rest of their lives. Two, there's a lot of people that don't care as much about the online space. But if everybody did something that they loved as a side hobby, I think the quality of products would go way up. The pricing would go up. You would find like more quality customer service. Why? Because people are genuinely doing what they want to do. And then, people often come back, well, what about like grocery stores? People don't want to be in that. And I was like, well, things would just change, because I know a lot of people that would really love to just have a garden or a farm. Like, there's a lot of people where that's their dream, that's their goal. And a lot of people like my age, like the amount of people I run into that they're like, I just want to have a property and some animals and my big garden. Like it's like a new niche that's coming in. Everybody wants to live this lifestyle. So the grocery stores wouldn't be as busy. You wouldn't need as much canned processed foods. There might be more farmers trading, but you would have like quality woodworking. You would have quality clothing, because it's like handmade or whatever. But everybody's just genuinely doing what they want, and what they find value in, and what they love. So you're gonna want to do it at its best.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of this channel, is to, and the same thing with you that you're doing, is try to be able to spark that. Because again, like Tony Robbins, all the people that came before, it's like that was one of my self-doubts. Like what value am I going to be able to offer out there? All these people have done it way better than I can ever do it. Is it really worth it? And it's like, well, they haven't reached everybody. Their message hasn't touched everybody. Everybody's
Right?
going to be touched in a different way, a different message. And so, okay, that my job is to go find the people that I can help, and
Yeah.
people that I'm not going to help, and that's okay. But there's people that I can help, and so, okay, cool. Cheers to 2023. 2022 was a great year. Like as much as 2022 sucked in so many ways, it was an important year for me, because it got this recession, got me out of my comfort zone, and
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to be able to look at it in that way, to be able to use it as fuel. And I hope somebody else is out there thinking the same thing. Hey, this is an opportunity to fuel your transformation.
It's
So
a good mindset to have. Now you just got to keep running into 2023, and bigger goals and bigger things, and educating and saving more people.
totally, totally. Okay, so we're gonna have to have you back on some point later in the year or whenever. Catch up on when you get to 20,000 and 100,000. Shoot, you might be at 100,000 by like June. Who knows in terms of followers?
That would be amazing. I would love that.
Because and that's the one thing that my partner Mike Swale and I always say, growth is not linear, it's exponential. So
Hmm.
you never
Hmm.
know. You put the work in, you never know what's possible. So
True. Hmm.
cool. Well, Dakota, thank you so much for making time out of your day. I know it's late, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, thank you. It was a pleasure to be here, and yeah, I just enjoy the rest of your evening and go hit all the goals that you have for 2020 as well. Thank you for having me.
Cool. Take care.